I was very excited when Crystal first approached me to teach this class with her. Her work is sort of dynamic and large scale and very versatile. And I also work in a way that can be very large scale sometimes in doing large scale installation. I thought together we would make something kind of unexpected. So I thought it would be fun. And also she's just a really kind person and just one of those people that's very fun to be around. And I thought we would just sort of explore this topic in a nice way. It would be fun. It would be a learning experience.
Doreen and I were interested in collaborating and co-teaching together. So we then brought in Jenny Meekins, who is another architecture professor. She teaches in interior architecture. Her practice is really, comparable to mine. Even though the approach is different, it's through design and interior architecture. She's a maker, she's a knitter, she builds installations, and that process is very much folded into the field of fiber and material studies. And so that felt like really correct to collaborate and invite her in to participate in this class.
Installation scale work is something that I've always been interested in, but I come at it from an architecture perspective. And so I thought that it could be a really great opportunity to kind of bring the perspective of space into a class like this, and also engage with art students, as well as bring in the interior design students that are taking it. So I really thought that my role was just as kind of being a collaborator and also someone who has worked with materials in a similar way. And so my role also too is learning from Crystal and Doreen, because they've been here longer, but also they have experience in a lot of things that I'm interested in. So it was sort of selfish for me to be able to kind of work with them and have that perspective coming in.
At this point, we know exactly what we're doing. The next part, you'll see us get a little nervous about, because has a lot more unknowns. Because we've never done this before. So we thought that we could glue this stuff together. The glue did not hold. And it was actually grad student Haley who determined that we could just use packing tape. Packing tape, you know why Amazon uses packing tape? Nothing comes apart. So that's why. And this next part, we're not quite sure how we're going to attach it all. So it's a little scary. That goes there, that goes there, this here, and then tape it right down to the table, right?
Yep.
Tape it down to the table, right on the edge, all the way. Okay, and then, there we go. All right, one down.
And then this one.
It's been a really rich process. I mean, definitely fun and easy in some ways and challenging in ways that I wasn't expecting. And I really feel like we sort of, at this moment, have hit a stride where things are starting to be developed and pieces are coming together. And so there's a genuine excitement in the studio. So I think it's going great. Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
I still need to assign the colors or the yarns and then the stitch lengths, because we will need to make the stitch length smaller because it's doing a lot of every other needles, so we don't need as much yarn. Then everything else is probably fine because we haven't really done anything with it. So now you should be good to go. So now you can, I'll turn on the light, and now you can pull the bar. You don't have to just pull the fabric out, yeah. There you go. Gently, there you go, there you go. Okay, and then I'm gonna need to close the fabric tape down.
Yeah?
So make sure you go back. And then we can steam it. Probably the biggest challenge is just thinking about a group of 20 people plus 3 faculty coming to a consensus and how you actually work out a collective project, right? And how much we needed to sort of intercede in that process is one that was really, I think the three of us all had different perspectives on it. And, I wouldn't have wanted you guys to be a fly on the wall, but being a fly on the wall, you would have seen how we are constantly discussing what we think is a better way, or, if this might have worked better. But ultimately, I think coming to those consensus was really beneficial. And then I think the students were then able to kind of take their own path forward. And so I think that's really the biggest challenge. I mean, structure and hanging it is pretty straightforward, really. I mean, some people might say the scale of it, but I think it's really about getting the design set and then executing it. Who's going to do what? How long is it going to take, etc. So I feel like that's maybe the biggest challenge.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tennis racket this thing over that. That's the goal. And what we do is we just take turns and see who's the best shot. All right, here we go. Without stepping on it. Well, that didn't work. Perfect. Got it. I hooked it in there for you. Did you see that? I pulled it. They're going to throw that thing out this window. What I think we need to do is we need to pull it as taut as we can against that wall and then come up underneath it and then start raising pipes with it already on it. There's no way, if this is 15 feet in the air, that we're going to be able to lift a 50-pound piece of vinyl and throw it over it. It'll fall apart. So this I think we can just tape. Maybe I'm not going to do this right now because we'll just tape it. But that'll give people an idea of, thank you, Jamie, of what it looks like so they understand the process when they come over with the vinyl, and we can explain what the situation is.
Can we go? Yeah?
If it rips. Okay. There are challenges in this rigging that are new to me. Usually I use rope and sisal, and I have some in the studio. I have some really large, like 2-inch rope. I have everything from 1/2-inch rope and flax. I love flax and I love bamboo. Natural fibers are really great to rig with because you can tie quick knots and they just hold. It's almost like Velcro. This rigging, because the materials are industrial, the space is industrial, we're actually using airplane wire, which I have used before. The pulley system is going to be different. That's the one part that I'm not quite sure. The windows that we're shooting for, that we're going to hang this out of, 20 feet from the ground. We don't have ladders that tall, so I have to be about 8 feet from the window and hang a metal conduit pipe that we've already cut down. It's 5-foot pipe, drilled holes in. I have to get it to the window to get this vinyl on and then fly it out, but also be able to raise it to that height. And that is going to be a little bit of a little challenge.
Seeing the final thing come together felt really celebratory. So there was a lot of work and there was a lot of growth of individuals. There was a lot of growth as a group, and being able to sit in the space under this rainbow on these really soft pillows and this sort of, the reception was under rain and then in the sun is all this color. It felt really celebratory and playful. So that feels really good to have something to be proud of in all of this.
Being in the space with everyone last week, especially when it opened, was pretty incredible. And I think also seeing other people's reactions to it and their experiences has made it even more meaningful. And I think it's always so exciting. That's why I love being a teacher in design, because there is always something that the students have created at the end, and seeing that always makes me proud.
One thing that as a teacher, when you're very, very sensitive to the mood of your students. It's very subtle, but when I walk into a room, I can tell if half my class is sick or if they're excited. And when we finished this installation, there was a lot of, I think, anxiety, some some of the students weren't quite so sure how this was going to turn out. But when we came to the opening, they all looked younger. They all were smiling, swinging. I actually looked like they were on a carousel, and I could just see sort of joy and relief and a sense of pride. And so for me, that's the win. And I felt that myself, just a sense of playfulness and, wow, look what we did. And a sense of solidarity. That was, I think, the best